Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. So I did part one of this scene from the Real Housewives of Potomac and I put it out on Thanksgiving. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. I just was so confused and excited and, you know, all of the adjectives watching this scene, and I could not wait to break it down with you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking the videos, doing all the things. I still can't believe we are almost at 3,000 subscribers. I feel like this community is just so fun and so amazing, and all of your comments are the best, so keep them coming. Before I just continue to talk your ear off, which you know I could, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first things first, we have sort of our establishing shots and sort of our interstitials. So interstitials, I don't even know if that's the right word for what this is, but they're not necessarily establishing shots because we're not establishing that the women are in, you know, the ocean. Yet we are seeing the ocean from a bird's eye view, and, you know, they're doing that sort of Potomac thing that they're doing this season where they're fading into color and out of color. It's sort of giving this ominous feel, and then the frame sort of closes up and then we get 3 panels, and the panels are replaced with sort of scenery of Miami. And then we get the temperature on the wall, which I think has sort of a double meaning. You know, it's warm outside, but also it's getting hot in here, sort of vibes. And then the establishing shot of bar 1 to kind of show we're back here. You know, this is the restaurant that we're at. And then we start hearing the voices of the ladies. So these shots are sort of ominous. They're also giving that sort of contrast, like, ooh, exciting Miami going on. And then underneath the surface, you know, what lies beneath. And the music is sort of ominous too, to sort of put us in this mood.
You talk about being a CEO and women empowerment. You got one more time. And what you gonna do? Look at you.
Okay, so here we are with Mia's second assault on Wendy. First was with the drink, which we covered last episode, and this time she reaches over and tries to hit her with her purse. But we don't like that. I think as Housewives fans, I think we enjoy the drama, but I think when it starts to kind of turn the corner into more of like a violent arena, it's not great. But what I thought was really interesting here is they have this sort of front angle on Mia while she's kind of rearing back with the purse. And then when she actually strikes Wendy with the purse, we shift our angle and we see less of Wendy getting hit. So it's obscured. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm sure that shot that they had, that first shot they were using, was actually a better shot to see the actual hit. Especially because you can see Mia like rearing back. I'm sure the camera person is ripe and ready to go to pull the camera back so you can see the full, you know, hit, or to follow her hand, you know, all of those things. But they chose to switch angles, and I'm just wondering what you guys think. I personally think it's because they want to kind of minimize the violence and stuff that's in these shows. Obviously, we've had trouble in Potomac before, and I feel like maybe they're trying to, you know, minimize it. When I worked in film, I worked on horror movies, and depending on the rating of the movie, you know, PG-13 or rated R, there was only so much violence, gore, blood that you could actually show in the movie. A lot of the movies that I ended up working on were more PG-13 thrillers and horror movies, and I worked in post-production, and I just remember all the conversations all the time, like, oh, we gotta, you know, take out a second of that blood, or we gotta make that shot like more black and white. Like they would literally like fade color and it would change, you know, the MPAA would actually watch the cut before it actually went out, and they would give the rating. And if they gave us an R, we'd be like, oh, we gotta go back to the edit and change some things around. So I'm wondering, one of you geniuses commented, because I did a video before where they had beeped out Karen saying a certain word, but not had, you know, Candace beeped out. And one of you pointed out that it's probably because of the rating. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are so smart. Of course it is. So there's only so many, bad words they can say per episode. And maybe there's only so much that they can show on screen. And she hits her and they, cut to this other angle. And I just wanted to point that out to you guys because I was like, I wonder what your opinion is on it. Or do they want to see more of Wendy sort of, she really ducks that thing, and maybe they just wanted to show that. Maybe they wanted to show more of the table. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your opinions.
You gonna do? Look at you! Look at the CEO! Oh, look at the CEO! Look at the CEO! Oh, look at the CEO!
You a big girl and you doing.
Okay, so, and then we had another moment sort of pushing her friend. She's not intentionally, I don't think, trying to hurt her friend Jacqueline, but she definitely pushes her enough for Jacqueline to sort of step back. It's turning the corner, as we would say.
Oh,
You a big girl and you doing that.
listen to me. And the businesswoman. She's not working. Look at the CEO and the business.
Okay, I want you guys to think about the scene with Teresa where she does the table flip, right? Do you guys remember the music in that scene?
Prostitution whore, you are f***ing gay 19 times?
As she's crescendoing her voice and the speech, the music is actually going along with her. And when she actually flips the table and all that, you get all this music and all this dramatic sound. What's interesting in Potomac, and I've talked about this before on this channel, they use a lack of sound to create some sort of emotion and feeling in us. You can see this. Mia is escalating. She's done 2 hits in the past 30 seconds, and we have no music whatsoever right now.
You doing that.
Listen to me. And the businesswoman. She's not working.
It's that awkward feel. It's creating tension. We're like, what's going to happen next? We can hear Wendy, yelling at her in the background. We can hear people saying like, let's stop this. Jacqueline's giving Mia a pep talk to stop it. But the lack of music to me is what really stands out in this moment.
Oh, and the
This is
businesswoman.
embarrassing. That's
Such a
what this is.
CEO. Okay. Such a boss.
Let it go. Let it go.
Such a boss.
Let it go. It's gone too far,
Such a, you
y'all.
don't throw your phone.
Okay, so they have, they have to show Mia and the security guard walking away because we want to know where Mia is. We've talked about this before, but we want to know kind of where our players all are. If they just cut to Wendy while she's just saying,
Such a boss.
Let it go. Let it go.
Such a boss.
Let it go.
we might be like, wait, is Mia still there just out of frame and now she's gonna like attack her? They've cut the tension by cutting to Mia walking out with the security guard. It's probably exactly how it went, but they definitely need to show it so us as an audience can kind of go, okay, the danger between the two of them is not happening. Tension is sort of like loosened a little bit right now.
It's beyond far.
It's beyond far. Let it go.
I'm like, can I get my food to go?
Gotta control your temper.
Okay, so they have, as Mia's walking out, it's very, very quiet as she's kind of going to that place to call her husband. The security guard's with her. And then you hear Karen sort of a voiceover.
Can I get my food to go?
Just, can I take my food to go? And then they cut to a plate like not being touched. I just think it's funny there because you don't know, like Karen may have said that at the very end of the scene when they were all leaving, but the way that they cut it in there, it's really giving us the feeling like, okay, that was so tense and so like disturbing, like people have lost their appetites, right? Now maybe Karen did say that in the moment. She actually did want to like get her food to go. So it was perfect to have that little voiceover and then show the dish not being touched. But I just like to point out that that could have been from anywhere. We'll never know.
Your temper.
No, stop antagonizing. You antagonize to the utmost.
I use my words.
No,
and then she throws her stuff.
No.
Okay, so I have a feeling I know how you guys all feel about this whole situation. Wendy being called an antagonizer for being hit. I don't know. It feels like victim blaming to me. Don't love it at all, Robin. If you're watching, which I'm sure you are, just kidding. And she's saying all that. They cut to Karen. You can see Karen's reaction. Karen's reaction, I believe, is a little bit of an anchoring to our reaction, which is like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe she's going there right now after all that just happened. Yes, Wendy's talking a lot, but there have been 3 attempts really at kind of attacks and violence so far, and now they're talking to Wendy about antagonizing. It's just, yeah, Karen's face kind of says it all.
And throws her bags
No.
and throws drinks, that's on her,
No.
that she's violent.
Okay, so there it is. So Wendy says exactly what we're all thinking.
And if she throws her stuff and throws her bags and throws drinks, then that's on her, that she's violent.
And then they cut to Karen, and again, Karen's face is sort of hearkening to what we probably feel, and then the camera kind of closes up on her, which is bringing us a little bit closer to her, feeling like it's a little bit more of an intimate moment with Karen, but also getting us to feel like we can really relate with what's going on in her brain.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
So can you find a flight? I'm gonna go back to the house and stuff. I'm done.
Imagine a woman.
So they're doing this cross-cutting, right? They're cross-cutting from the table where they're sort of talking about everything that just went down. And then they're cutting to Mia outside, you know, far away from the table, calling her husband. That feeling that we can all feel where you're trying not to cry. I don't want to get into it right now. I'm humiliated. I'm embarrassed. Maybe she's embarrassed of her behavior. I have no idea. But she's doing that thing where she's calling her husband. It's very quiet during this.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
And then they cut right back to Wendy and everyone talking about it there.
A woman sitting here talking about woman empowerment, and a woman calls you a name and you throw your purse and your phone.
Whoa!
Control yourself.
You win.
Control yourself.
Everybody!
Yeah, Robin, I just feel like Robin's consistency is low. And I think that comes a lot with like worrying about what other people think or kind of, you know, following other people's opinions or whatever. I feel like you can be all over the place and not very consistent because you're not staying true to yourself. When she stands up and does this little like play, it's really the last thing that we need in this. It's not funny. She said something kind of real.
A woman calls you a name and you throw your purse and your phone.
What I want to point out here in, you know, just from an editing point of view, she didn't call Mia a name before the first physical attack. And that's going to play into, that's not just like, I'm sitting here giving you my opinion. I'm telling you from an editorial standpoint. We're going to get to it, but there's some sneaky editing coming up.
Wendy is the winner! She is right all the time. She's the winner.
Thank you.
She's the winner.
Thank you.
I'm literally.
Okay, and Wendy plays along with it because Wendy is kind of like, I think, socially awkward and things like that. And she's like, she's playing along. But Karen's face, again, says it all. Karen does not stand for any of this stuff. She didn't stand for it in the Monique stuff. Karen's just like a good friend. I have to just say, I watched some of the old Potomac stuff to sort of prep for this video, and I'm just watching Karen and I'm like, she's a ride or die. I just love Karen. I know she can be rough around the edges at certain times, but I say, like, if I just wanted to be friends with anyone in this cast, it would definitely be Karen.
I'm literally like going ham.
Oh, wow.
Can you let me know when the next flight out?
No, wait.
No,
You're by yourself?
I
You're
quit.
not leaving?
So they have that shot where, you know, she's saying to her husband, like, she's really going crazy. And then we have Robin walking up. And as she's walking up, she's saying, can you let me know when the next flight out? Which is perfect for sort of this story, because then Robin gets to hear it, overhear it, and then there's sort of some drama between them, like, no, you're not leaving, you're not leaving. I don't know if that's exactly the sequence it went in, like her telling her husband, you know, I went crazy, and then Robin walks right up and she says that thing. We don't know. There was probably a lot cut out in that little phone conversation.
You're not leaving?
Can you call
Who
me
are you
back?
talking to?
And let me know if I need to call Kelly.
You're not leaving.
You see my nails?
Holy sh**.
Baby, can you take a look at it and let me know, and then let me know if I need to call Kelly?
I was just laughing at I'm not laughing like I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. It's like, it's a weird thing. It'd be like, you know, if someone like hit you in the face, you got in a little altercation with your friend and they hit you with something, you'd be like, do you see my face, right? It would be really bad if the friend was like, do you see my fist? to their friend. Well, why are you acting like a victim with your nails right now? No one did that to you. No one ripped off your nails. Don't come at me. I'm not laughing at this situation. I'm laughing uncomfortably.
And let me know if I need to call Kelly. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right, thanks, bye.
You're not leaving.
You're leaving?
Yeah. No, I'm like, she can't leave.
No, you're not leaving.
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
where?
yeah.
Home?
Yeah.
If you're leaving, we're all leaving.
Okay, so we saw it there. There was sort of a weird cut. Robin was like, you're not leaving, right? And then all of a sudden Giselle walks in, and then we kind of go back and we see that Jacqueline's here now. I don't know if Jacqueline came in with Giselle. I don't know when Jacqueline showed up. Jacqueline's all of a sudden there, but they kind of wanted to quickly make it seem like she hangs up the phone and Giselle comes right into frame. We don't know how long this conversation was going on the phone and everything. It could have been super long, so.
No, you're not leaving.
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
where?
yeah.
Home?
Yeah.
If you're leaving, we're all leaving. Because this is your
Yeah,
trip.
we're all leaving.
And, and nobody named Mia is leaving.
And I just want to discuss that little coverage they have of Mia's nails. They definitely wanted to show us the nails, what happened, but they showed them there because they're using them kind of as coverage. I've talked to you guys about coverage before. It's where someone is saying something and they might be manipulating the dialogue just a little bit, but they don't want to keep the camera on their face because if they cut out the spaces or ums or pauses or whatever they're saying there, it would look weird if they were on their face. So they cover it with some other footage. And obviously that's something that we did need to see, those nails.
Wendy?
Yeah, please.
I'm going to go get everything for her.
Me, and it's so crazy because like she was baiting you and tagging. You did exactly what she wanted you to do.
I know. Well, she wins. I'm immediately embarrassed.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I just wanted to call out the producer moment.
Wendy?
Yeah, please.
I'm going to go get everything for her.
Giselle tells the producer, you can see she's looking off camera and she's like, I'm gonna go get her stuff. We love those fourth wall moments. But wow, Robin saying all that stuff about the baiting. I wish we could have just cut to this.
You're being so condescending right now, and this is a serious conversation. And Karen, you're the moderator, you brought us together, and you're letting her get away with it.
And Giselle, she seems like totally there for Mia and she's like right there with her and like she's her advocate. She's gonna go grab her stuff. I wish the editors would have just cut back to this.
I by no means want to be anywhere near you. Do me and Jamal, a pastor, have an image to protect? 100%. So hanging around someone who decides to fight women on national television, is that a good look? No.
It seems like they might have missed something there, missed some opportunities. I've been reading a lot online about just like how, yeah, Wendy's really being implicated in this fight. From the cast, more than anything, you're seeing that they're all siding with Mia. It's just crazy because it was totally flipped a few seasons ago with Miss Monique. I know that Monique's was maybe a little bit more hands-on violent, but I believe if the security wasn't there stopping her, that's exactly what would have gone down, especially with the purse. And then once Wendy sort of got activated, anyway, this is not editing related, but I was just like, whoa. All these like flashbacks in my head started going and I was like, gosh, it would have been really nice to see those. And I also wanted to remind you guys of them, so.
I'm immediately...
Also, I just want to talk about flashbacks with that in general. You know, flashbacks are used in shows and movies to kind of show where the character's mind might be or to give us a clue into something that happened. It gets you into their head a little bit more.
Immediately embarrassed. I have fought my whole life. And anytime someone gets me to a space where I feel like I have to defend myself physically, check please, I'm out.
You're gonna use this.
Okay, the sentiment aside, feeling like she had to defend herself physically, I feel like defending yourself physically, you don't have to defend against someone's words using physical force. I'm putting a lot of opinions in here today, guys. I don't condone the violence, but I'm not like, oh, Bravo should put their foot down, because then it would literally like just get in the way of, there would be rules to the reality, and then you get shows that are like, I'm not even gonna name them, but that are a little bit more produced, a little bit more sort of like staged and stuff like that, where they're like, oh no, we can't go here, we can't go here. And then I think it would lose its luster. I went too far there.
You're gonna use this, Mia, first, okay? I'm gonna go get your wallet and your purse. Okay.
I'm bleeding and this is just like some ratchet.
Ashley, you okay?
I'm great, Karen.
So is she talking to herself there when she says?
I'm bleeding and this is just like some ratchet.
I don't know.
I'm great, Karen.
You do look great.
May I have a glass of wine, please?
Yeah.
Hey, babe. Look at my nails.
Whatever.
Okay, so I do like that cut with Ashley and Karen. It's sort of that light moment to ease the tension. You guys all know that. It's light and funny seeing Ashley just sort of being like, I love not being in the drama. So then they cut to Mia being on the phone with her husband again. They show the outside of the car, you know, as she's calling him and speaking to him. And then what I thought was interesting there, Jacqueline's in the car, but instead of just putting a camera on Jacqueline, they have her in a mirror. What did you guys think about that? Like, why do you guys think that they showed Jacqueline in a mirror? I have my own thoughts, but I would love to see in the comments below like what you guys thought about that. And I'm actually loving Jacqueline. I think she's a kind of a great friend of. I don't know what you guys think. I think a lot of friend ofs like try to get in the mix too much, but Jacqueline just seems sort of like she's getting in the mix because obviously her friend's going crazy, but you know, she doesn't seem like thirsty like some of the other friends of. I don't know what you guys think.
So Wendy proceeded to say, you other women and men.
Right. And that you must be Peter.
It's laughable.
So I said, you're not gonna.
So as they're talking about Wendy, of course, they cut to Wendy. She's sipping her drink. And what do the editors do? They put that little like slurping sound in. The straw sound that they tend to do with like literally every time a housewife takes a drink, especially when someone's either talking about her or she's being shady or she's being silly. They just love that sound effect. I just find it funny.
You're not gonna disrespect my husband.
The insults that you hurled on her husband, though, they came after.
They came after the drink.
Okay.
Me and my husband play. We don't play like that. Period.
Okay, so here's where we're going to talk about the sneaky edit. Editors, I see you. They have Karen asking Wendy.
The insults that you hurled on her husband, though, they came after.
And Wendy says,
Came after the drink.
Okay.
and then they cut to.
Me and my husband play. We don't play like that.
And then the drink happens. So what the editors are really implying here is that Wendy is lying. No, Wendy, they're saying with this flashback, the insults actually happened before the drink was thrown. That's why they show her talking about her husband and then they show the drink being thrown. But if you guys remember that in context, this line was totally taken out of context. In context, she's just saying, my husband and I don't play like that. Like, I don't call other men before I come into town. That's just not something that my husband and I do. Maybe you do that in your house. It's on the fence, maybe, like you could file it on the fence of talking about her family and her husband. I personally, in the moment, didn't feel like it. Mia was going so hard on her about this business with Peter that actually is none of Mia's business and really seemed like she was taking it personally for Peter. Wendy was really, to me, like, yeah, it's on the edge, like I said, but it did not feel like she's coming for her husband. After she threw the drink, let's watch.
You and your husband can go other women and men.
So there, yes, she's going for it. She was actually saying all that before the drink throw. Maybe us on the internet would feel a little bit different about what Robin's saying, the antagonizing comment. Again, still, no one can antagonize someone to, be physical. But I just think that the editors showing that line out of context as before the drink was totally shady because it was not that bad then. They're trying to imply the comments were said before the drink was thrown and the comments were said after the drink was thrown, which is absolutely untrue. Those two, sentiments, the sentiments behind those two lines, in my opinion, were totally different. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, but I found this to be a sneaky edit, and I do believe that's sort of why the internet is up in arms. It feels like they're trying to create something that didn't actually happen. And that, I believe, is when shows will start losing us. If they try to underestimate our intelligence, it's going to be hard for us to trust them. There's definitely things where they've written the line, but I think for the most part, I think we see a lot of just stuff being played out without trying to, you guys are all gonna yell at me and tell me I'm wrong, but just from an editorial standpoint, I can see where, they're trying to heighten and where they just let things play out. And I feel like more than anything, they let things play out. Right here, that was a sneaky edit, no question in my mind. I do not like it. I think what they should have done is just let Karen ask her the question. If they wanted to do a flashback, they could have done the entire flashback showing the context and how calm Wendy was you know, with those comments. They were a little bit of that, like, I'm up here, we do this in our house, and you are below us, and you do this in your house. I think she's alluding to like some of the stuff Mia's talked about, some of the, you know, different lifestyle stuff that her and G have, you know, done with other partners and things like that. So maybe she's alluding to that. It definitely triggered something in Mia, but this edit triggered something in me, clearly, because I just talked for 5 minutes.
Any of it true?
I said, and
Did you
that's
say
why
it out
you're
or was it true?
Oh, I said it out of anger, but there is a rumor. There's a rumor that she did. Listen, throw your drink at me, throw your purse at me.
You know, I really like Mia, but I don't like.
Okay, so then you know, Wendy has to sort of explain herself, which, you know, I understand. She's explaining herself. There's a rumor, you know, she shouldn't have said all that stuff, but we talked about it in our last video. I really believe that it was a runaway train kind of quality. When your adrenaline gets pumping, someone threw something at you, something's going down that's more serious. She had that runaway train moment. I don't think it's great. Not condoning that and what she said either, but nothing should bring someone to trying to assault you.
But I don't like that.
You don't like what, the drink?
Physicality.
I don't like it either.
Not at all.
I can't sit there and let anybody talk about my family.
So they're really hanging the camera on Ashley after she says that.
Physicality.
I don't like it either.
Not at all.
I can't.
You can tell though she's doing sort of what we would call a reunion moment where she's saying, you know, I really love Mia, because she doesn't want beef with Mia. Ashley's like to me, like a very calculated housewife. Like she kind of knows what to do. I think she's a little bit smarter than she puts on, but she's definitely saying a lot of this, like, I love Mia, but I didn't love her behavior.
Like, I just don't. I can't do it.
What did everybody else say?
And they agree with me.
Except for Karen. I mean, Karen told Mia that she didn't think she should have tossed the drink at her.
Did you guys hear that? So she says they agreed with me. They cut back to G, and you hear this little voice.
Except for Karen.
I might be totally wrong, but I think they put that in from something else, or they had her say it later. It feels like ADR. ADR is basically just something where they get a line that they need either for storyline, or maybe it didn't come through that audibly. I don't think they're doing ADR, but I believe that that was stuck in there. I don't think that she said it. Obviously they cut to G in that moment when you heard it, so it didn't come out of her mouth. Wherever it came from, I can guarantee you it didn't come out of her mouth sitting in that car in that moment while she's talking to G. That's just my opinion.
Drink at her.
Now, you know, Mia's my girl, right? I love Mia, but that was completely unnecessary.
But the reason that they put it in there is because they do need to kind of establish that, you know, there's some discord between Mia and Karen.
Completely unnecessary. How's Mia doing?
She's not doing well at all, rightly so. And she's going to figure out her next couple.
I love this cut to Wendy's face as she's processing what's going on. Giselle comes in as, you know, Mia's, I don't know, mouthpiece, announcing what's going on with Mia. She's definitely doing that. And they cut to Wendy, and Wendy's like, you can see the wheels spinning in her head, and the, honestly, like I see a lot of Wendy's mom in her when she gets this toughness. Her mom's like a really tough cookie, and I think I see a lot of Wendy's mom in there. I don't know.
Couple of days.
Where are you going?
I can leave because I'm not gonna hear Mia empathizers or somebody who is okay with violence.
Okay, so do you guys hear the music come in?
Where are you going?
I can leave.
As soon as she throws her napkin down and she gets up to walk away from the table, and it's really just emphasizing that this is another big moment, and Wendy is really standing up for herself, which I love, but the music is definitely lending itself to creating some, this is what I'll say, it's creating some to be continued energy. When I watched this, I didn't know it was going to be a to be continued episode, but I knew we were at a few more seconds and we were getting a crescendo with music. It's going to be a to be continued.
With violence now, but when Monique did it to Candace, she was against violence. I'm not here for hypocrites. If I'm in the house, I'm gonna beat the shit out of her.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that's where it sort of lost. She had this kind of grand statement about like how, you know, she's against violence, or, you know, Giselle was against violence back then and now she's not, and blah. And then the last line that she says is,
I'm gonna beat the shit out of her.
Oh my God.
Oh, Wendy, just leave that off. Like, it would have been so good if you just had zipped the lip right there, but, you know, perfect housewife behavior.
Oh my God.
And then they have that big grand, and then some coconuts falling and smashing on the ground. Very dramatic type of feel to it. It had me laughing. The coconuts were so random to me. I actually Googled, are coconuts in Miami? Like, is this something I don't know about? Are coconuts like a big thing there? And apparently they are. In South Beach, coconuts are everywhere. So there it is. Thank you so much for watching this part 2. I just thought this scene was like definitely needed to be discussed. I meant to have this video be short, but it looks like it's super long. I'm gonna get to editing everything and get it out to you guys. I wanna hear all your comments on this scene. I feel like this is a really controversial point in Potomac, but man, I was watching some old episodes of Potomac and I was just like, God, this franchise consistently delivers. I just love these characters and these ladies as really dynamic housewives, and I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. And until next time.
Look at you!
No, stop antagonizing. You antagonize to the utmost.
Okay.
All right. We're going to leave it there.